The Supreme Court is today giving its judgment on a consolidated case against the Electoral Commission on the compilation of a new voters register. Now, the persons involved are the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. They are praying the court to declare the existing voters register as a valid document in the upcoming registration process. Also, there's a private citizen by name of Mark Techibansin, who is also asking the court to declare that the exclusion of the birth certificate as a valid document is unconstitutional. He also wants the court to declare as unconstitutional the Electoral Commission's decision to go ahead with the voter registration exercise. And mind you, on June 30th, which is next week, the Electoral Commission is expected to roll out or begin the new voter registration exercise. Now, the NDC feels that this will disenfranchise a lot of people who may not have passports and the Ghana cards as well. As you can see all around, there's heavy security presence ahead of the declaration. So many security officers who are here to ensure there's some peace and sanity as the case is about to begin and rolls out. So we'll be bringing you up to speed with what the court says. The Supreme Court says, and will also speak to parties involved based on the outcome of the court's decision. This is the Citi Newsroom. So the Supreme Court has given its ruling on the case and has directed the Electoral Commission to go ahead with the compilation of the register. Officials of the Electoral Commission step out based on the Supreme Court's judgment that has just been delivered here. The team from the National Democratic Congress has stepped out. See the General Secretary Johnson Esedu Nketia. You can also see Alex Sebefia, Marietta Brew, Apia Opong, lawyer Amaleba is also here. So the General Secretary is to address the press shortly.
I think we just came out of the Supreme Court, and the court has just delivered a verdict which has granted our request for the inclusion of the existing voter card as breeder document for the compilation of the register. And I think that we are most grateful. We think that this is the most substantive issue for which we came to court. So we will get back to office and we will address a full-blown press conference on the consequential matters arising. Thank you very much.
How does it make you feel, General?
Well, we feel vindicated because the court itself, in an earlier ruling, has clearly stated that the possession of an existing voter's ID card means that the holder is a citizen of Ghana who is qualified to be registered and to exercise his or her powers.
So that was the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, Johnson Esedu Nketia, addressing the press. And he has given his side or his understanding of the ruling that was made today in court. So the Deputy Attorney General, Godfred Dame, has also stepped out of the courtroom and he has an opposing view. He has declined to speak officially on camera, but he believes that the Supreme Court's ruling is in the favor of the Electoral Commission. It has dismissed the NDC's application to include the voter's ID card as a valid document in the upcoming registration.
So let me get the order and then we can have. Let's get the order and then we can speak to it. Because
therefore, this guy is empty.
So based on the confusion of both parties, we brought in our court correspondent Sixtus Dong Olo to give us some clarity on what exactly the Supreme Court has been saying with regards to this matter. We know that there was some form of confusion when the Supreme Court gave its ruling. Where was this coming from, and what was the basis for this confusion?
The Supreme Court, in giving the judgment, said that made reference to the Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulations 2012, which is CI 91, as amended by CI 126, and said that the Electoral Commission could go ahead to compile a new voters register. Now, in saying that, the NDC said it had been vindicated because it felt that the court had upheld the right of the citizen to vote. But if you go back to the CI 126, it stipulates the proof of identity, documents that you would need to prove to be able to register in the June 30 voter registration exercise, which is what this whole case was about. Now, looking at that interpretation or that CI, the EC feels vindicated. The Attorney General feels vindicated that indeed the NDC had no case at all. But some way, somehow, the parties involved in the case thought otherwise. And so there was a bit of a confusion as to what the court really meant when it said that the Electoral Commission could go ahead in accordance with Articles 42 and 45 of the Constitution and CI 126.
Okay, so we know that there are a number of reliefs that the NDC was seeking. Now, what has been the decision of the Supreme Court? The key ones, just give us the key ones.
So the court dismissed all the reliefs that were being sought except for two of them, which had to do with the right of the individual to vote, which cannot be tempered with by any other person. And after dismissing those reliefs, the court made some orders, and I will just read the orders. It says that by this decision, the Electoral Commission are hereby directed to commence the compilation of the voter registration exercise as scheduled. Number 3, by these decisions, any court in which same or similar action is pending or yet to be filed shall apply the decision rendered by the Supreme Court in these consolidated suits. So you recall that the Ashaman Member of Parliament, Ernest Nobe, went to the High Court just within the course of the week, also seeking some reliefs regarding the power of the Electoral Commission to compile a voters register in accordance with the existing CI, which is CI 126. So per this decision, the court would have to refer to the decision of the Supreme Court as taken this day to be able to make a decision in that matter.
Okay. So we know that this was a combined case. We know of the NDC side and the private individual who also brought the case. Now,
so by the decision that we have from the Supreme Court, again, Mark Techi Benson has also been dismissed. In effect, it means that the birth certificate cannot be used for the purposes of voter registration. That's number 1. Number 2, the Electoral Commission can compile the voter register as many times as it deems necessary for the purposes of maintaining the credibility of the register.
Thank you very much. That was our court correspondent Sixtus Dong Ulo bringing us up to speed with the judgment of the Supreme Court today in that case. So there was heavy security presence as earlier indicated. Now we can see the police moving out of the Supreme Court premises because the case has been determined and judgment has been made. Private legal practitioner Yao Opon sat through proceedings today and we seek his view of what he makes of the Supreme Court ruling.
So in a nutshell, just to clarify, in my understanding, the existing voters ID card, the birth certificate, baptismal card, and any other card or instrument of identification which is not mentioned in the new CI, as I have already adumbrated, cannot be used for purposes of registration of in the next registration exercise and also for voting. Now, if you go to the EC or any of the designated areas to register, you must first show that you are a Ghanaian. You must also show that you are 18 years or above, and you must show that you are of a sound mind, even though that is usually not immediately required. But then what are you going to use to confirm this? One, the CI, existing CI, says that you may use the Ghana card. Two, if you don't have the Ghana card, Ghana passport. But if you don't have any of these, then one person who is qualified to vote under the CI can be a guarantor for you. And in fact, that person can guarantee, in my understanding, for up to 10 people